Hello, I'm Bill with Gameology Space. Today I'm starting a new game called Codoo. The player is given a code word, then the player has to give prompts to the AI chatbot to make it say the code word. The scoring will be based on how many chat exchanges between the AI it takes and also how many words total are used. So to get the highest score, it would be something like when the player gives the AI one sentence prompt and the AI gets it immediately. That would be like the highest score. So the whole thing is going to be powered by ChatGPT. Before I show you that, I was very lucky to find this guy on YouTube that an open AI API for Unity. So I went to his, forked the project, and got it to work pretty quickly. I'll leave a link below if you guys want to follow. In his GitHub project, he has a ChatGPT sample. It looks just like a chat box, and in the code, it has everything you need on the right side here. So using his OpenAI API, there are some samples, and I was able to pull out the parts I need to build my project. I'm building a class as base that will take in a message and then get a reply from ChatGPT as a string. I made that general purpose so that I can have different AIs to use that same class to do different things. So for example, I would need an AI to give me a code word, to generate a code word, and then another chat to generate related words that the player are not allowed to use, and then another AI to just do a quick check to see if all the words are appropriate. And the user won't even see this. It'll appear just like talking to one AI, but in the back, it will have different chat logs. So I will have a session manager class that's tracking when you start a game. You'll be given a word, player prompts the AI replies, repeat until AI got the word, then that session completes. So that's what the session manager does. And then there's another class for a message log. It's also meant to be general purpose. Every time a session creates, it makes a new message log, clears it, and then adds messages from the system, the user, and the AI response. All of that is kept in the message log. And the reason for that is because every time you need a reply from the base class, you need to provide the full log so it gets a context of what's been spoken before. That's how it remembers. It needs the full log, not just the reply. And then the string reply from that class will just get created here. I have a bunch of other UI functions, but that's generally how the program is structured. A base class that receives a full message log returns a string as a reply. I have then a bunch of AI classes that ask different questions to get different responses that are needed for the game. Session manager keeps track of the whole game cycle. Message log is just what keeps the entire session. So I'll show you what I have so far. So here's the example. I'm going to the scene. So I'll hit play. This whole UI theme, by the way, is from Unity Asset Store. It's called the Modern UI, I think. This is already there. I'll show you the system message. So that's from the session manager. So the session manager first create a message with the role as system. That's a guardrail you put on ChatGPT, giving it instructions like you're playing a word game with the player and try to guess the word. So in the ChatGPT API, there's 3 roles: system, user, and assistant. The system is telling the ChatGPT to behave certain ways, do not break character if that's what you want, or just telling it to pretend to do something. And then user is obviously the user input, and then the assistant is who the player is talking to and having exchanges in between. So chat message is a class type for the prompt. And then so I create a message chat log. So chat log is the log of the session. I clear it at the prompt. Whenever the player hits the send button after typing, that will trigger the receive user input. So it'll create a message box. That's a UI function. It'll create a user message up there. The chat log will have the role of the user and then add it to the chat log. So everything is added to the chat log to keep track of the full conversation. And once that's done, I will then call function to get reply from ChatGPT. So get reply is down here. It will call this Codoo GPT class and get a reply. And the response is a string, and then the string gets placed here. And yeah, so that's how it goes. That's what I've got so far. There's nothing much in the message log. It's just a list of chat messages with a clear function and an add function. Surprisingly, I spent a lot of time on the UI. I don't know if that's useful to go over, but yeah, I spent around 2 days to get the chat message to show up, format it correctly, stay within. I'll show you here. So when I hit hello, it responds, and that's from ChatGPT calling the API. And the reason it knows we're playing a game is because of the system message. So now this is a response from the assistant. So now I'm just, whatever you type here is the interaction with the. So to get the words stay within the box, to have the box at the right width, and also forcing the layout to rebuild all of that. Related issues, I had spent about 2 days on just getting the UI correctly. So, and then also the scroll bar will also show up. If there are too many messages, it will auto scroll to the bottom. That also took some figuring out, but I also use a lot of ChatGPT to help me. So let's play around. Say the keyword is sunglasses. So how would I describe it? Something you wear on your head When it's sunny outside, it protects you. Try to be vague and see if it gets it. Hat for your eyes. Ah, see, sunglasses. Cool. And you can start a new session here. I want to, so in the real game, that would end the session. You'll get a pop-up, get a rating. I haven't done that piece yet. Right now, I just got the chat box working. So, correct. Add some message to show you the scroll bar. See, the scroll bar appears immediately when it's longer than the width, the height of this window, and it auto scrolls to the bottom. I've tested with a few people, and auto scrolling it to the bottom is definitely needed. So yeah, this is what I've got so far. Next week I will be working on generating the code word, generating the related word that are not allowed, and then build some functions to make sure the user input doesn't use the taboo words, and scoring, display a screen to give the score to the user based on how many exchanges. So yeah, so hope you guys find this interesting. I will see you next week.